Hey there, true believers. You're tuned in to Baxter Building Radio via the Negative Zone feed. Welcome to episode 10 of the Fantastic Four Fancast. I'm your host, Nate Charles, and as always, I am joined by my co-host. His name is Shane Murray. How you doing tonight, Shane?
Good, how you doing tonight, bud?
Oh, doing pretty good. Just read tonight's book and wrote up a format for the show and ready to rock and roll.
Live a winter wonderland.
No,
I mean, after the heat today, you could definitely want to live in a winter wonderland.
you act like I had time to leave my house.
Ah, your house must be much colder than mine because
I got two air conditioners in here, man. Like,
I died all day at work and now I'm barely living here. It's so good.
so how was your weekend?
All right. We went to the baseball game. Long baseball game. 4 hours of a baseball game. It's what happens when each team has double digit hits and there is 16 walks between both teams. It
Wow.
was, yeah. It was ended up being 16 to 6. A lot of runs, baby. It was fun. I mean, there it does get long though, like 60 4 hours of baseball is a minute.
What teams are playing?
The Rail Riders and the Iron Pigs.
And those are the minors for which
Yankees,
teams?
the Yankees minor leagues as the Riders, and the Iron Pigs are the Phillies minor league team.
All right. That was Wilkes-Barre?
Yeah, I saw them up in music.
Okay. Sounds like a fun time. The kids enjoy it? Did you not take the kids?
Only one kid ever goes. Yeah, he lasted as long as he could. The last couple innings were getting rough because he's used to baseball being about 2.5 hours, maybe three, and that's usually what a baseball game is. And after like it was the middle of the sixth, and he's like, "Oh my God, we're never gonna get out of here till 11 o'clock." I'm like, they're gonna get through this. They're just gonna bring out bad pitchers that make contact, and it runs might go up, but they're gonna hit to first baseman or second baseman, which is what they did. They literally had a guy come out and pitch in the eighth that's a position player just to send spicy meatballs into outer space and get caught by outfielders.
Very nice. Well, I'm glad you and Liam were able to have a fun time with that.
So what did you do, bud?
So, my weekend was mostly spent recording and doing a little guest spot on the 250th episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans podcast. Which I'd be lying if I didn't say that they have a ton of influence on our current format with this show. But yeah, I'm a huge Captain America fan, and those guys do great work covering all things Captain America. So, been on the show a couple times. Really happy that they brought me back in for this little special project. I'm not really going to spoil it at all, because I think they kind of want to keep it a little bit of a secret until the episode comes out. But yeah, if anybody out there is a Captain America fan, check out the Captain America Comic Book Fans podcast. I think they're also on Apple and Spotify and wherever else you can find podcasts.
Yeah, YouTube too.
They are on
They,
YouTube, yeah.
they're on everything, I think.
But yeah, Rick and Bob, super cool guys. So
They seem pretty cool. I've listened to them a few times, and not just the ones you've been on. Liam finds them amusing.
really, why is
Yeah,
I mean,
I
not
don't
that they're
know.
not entertaining, obviously.
I don't know. Sometimes he just likes listening to podcasts while we're driving. He just likes to hear the people talk and hear their opinions.
Very cool. Very cool.
I'm not one to figure out the autism brain, brother. I'm just here for the ride.
Well, sir, we are continuing our journey today into the 2001 miniseries Fantastic Four 1234 by Grant Morrison and Jay Lee. We covered issue number one back in episode five. So, for anybody who is just popping into this episode without having listened to that, I would highly recommend going back and checking out episode five, so you get the beginning of this story. But I'm excited to continue moving along through this. As you know, I'm a huge Grant Morrison fan. I know you have mixed opinions at best on their work.
I
What do
don't
you
know about
say?
that. Specifically this series. Let's go with that.
But are you ready to knuckle down and get started on this tonight?
Oh yeah, let's go do some knuckle dragon.
All right, so this is Fantastic Four 1234, number two. Cover dated for November of 2001. Release date was August 29th, 2001. The cover price was $2.99. Would you care to hazard a guess as to what this book is worth today, Shane?
475.
Very close, super close. You'd still lose by Price is Right rules.
Damn it.
But yeah, an ungraded copy of this today goes for $4.26.
Was gonna go low, and I got it so wrong last time. I wanted to be closer. Sadness.
Don't worry, we'll get you on track before you have to go visit Drew Carey.
I'm just gonna say $1. Or if someone says a dollar next to me, $1.50.
For this book, writer is Grant Morrison. Pencils and inking are by Jay Lee. Colorist is Jose Villarrubia. Letterer, Richard Starkings and Comic Craft. The editor is Stuart Moore, and then there are actually a number of other credits here, such as Associate Managing Editor, which is Kelly Lamy, Managing Editor Nancy DeKezian, Joe Quesada, Editor in Chief, and Bill Jamis, President. How familiar are you with Bill Jamis, Shane?
Not real familiar. Not real familiar at all, actually.
So, Bill Jemas is an interesting person as president of Marvel. I feel like he was much more hands-on than some of the previous presidents of the company had been as far as the creative process is concerned. He was also one for, at least in my opinion, kind of courting controversy, which we'll touch on here in a little bit when we go deeper into this book. Would you like to hear a synopsis of this issue?
Oh, please. They have one for this one?
Oh, too bad I can't find one.
That's sad. I can give you one real quick.
If you were writing the synopsis for this issue, Shane, what would it be?
Alicia Masters talks to a maybe ghost, maybe Sue Storm, until we find out what her personal crisis is. And we do find out what happened to Ben in the last issue, and maybe find out what's going to lead into the next issue with Johnny. No
I'm
resolution.
so vague, yet
No
so accurate.
no resolution on Reed.
I mean, I you were very specific but non-specific. I was expecting you to be like, Reed's face melts, maybe. Like that was, but we'll get into that as we do our panel by panel analysis today.
Yeah.
All right, so this was published under the Marvel Knights imprint, which again, that was a high-profile creator imprint, which had premium coloring to it. So, Shane, speaking of artwork, would you like to take us through the cover?
Yeah, you have Namor and Sue in a almost not quite an embrace, but almost a kiss. They're both their hands are hidden off the edge. And then you have Reed in his bubble looking like he's scratching it, but also with his eyes closed. It's very intriguing background there.
Now, are his eyes closed or is his eyes like mine, where they're just, narrow enough that they constantly look like they're
I don't
closed?
know because they're like the one's blacked out and the other one's completely blacked out, so
It's probably a
positive.
thick pane of glass in the shadow.
That's possible.
He looks like he's traumatized, which, I know the cover's been traumatizing you for about a month as you've been
Yeah.
having to look at it on Marvel Unlimited as I've gone between issues.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get this off of mine.
Why does this cover bother you so much, Shane?
I do not ship, as the kids say nowadays. Isn't that what the kids say? Something like that. I do not get this the Sue Namor shipping
Neither
or
do I, and you are correct. Ship is the term, or at least it was. We might be 10 years out of date. Who knows? We're getting old, pal. I'm sorry to tell you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
speak for yourself.
So as we open to the first page, Shane, what do we see here?
So you start with Doom, and then as you get further away from the up close shot of Doom, you see Doom, Namor, and Mole Man, and then you get to the next panel and you see that further away yet because you see the whole, almost the whole edge of that table, and you see a bright number four right behind them as, or at least Sue's part of the Fantastic Car has arrived at Alicia's apartment.
So I'm looking at panel 4 here, and I'm going to say that Sue did not just take her part of the Fantastic Car. She took the whole Fantastic Car. And quite frankly, I question that choice because heaven forbid something happens and the rest of the team needs the rest of the Fantastic Car.
Johnny flies anyway.
Johnny flies, but not Ben. Ben doesn't. Reed doesn't. Not that
Well,
I think Reed's necessarily going to let himself out of the lab. I think maybe the Fantastic Three minus Reed are going to handle a situation if it comes up. But
you mean the Fantastic Two because one of them is no longer a rock.
yeah, but they don't know that. But as this establishing shot is set up, Sue says, "What happened? Nothing happened, Alicia. That's the problem. Reed locked himself in his lab. We haven't seen him at all since yesterday. Wait a second. I'm just parking the Fantasticar."
I love that she just parks it in space. Like, it's fine. Don't mind me.
And we turn the
See,
page and we have the title of our story, which is what?
two, number two, staring at the fish tank. And again, we get the windows open in this weird apartment building complex, and you get these beautiful statues of the Fantastic Four behind Alicia feeding the fish in the fish tank before she turns around to go talk to Sue.
Now, very important. How is Sue represented here?
Invisibly.
But she has something.
Yeah, she has their uh I'm assuming it's takeout.
So Alicia, she hears the window open as she's feeding the fish and she turns, holding a towel in her hand, and she outstretches it. And she says, Sue, here, you sound wet.
I mean, she's not wrong.
It's storming pretty hard outside.
Yeah, why did she take the flying car and not like any other car? Like, what's there's choices. Four
Well,
choices is made.
if you remember from our past episodes, particularly episode 2, where we covered Fantastic Four number 1, Fantastic Four Volume 1, number 1, she doesn't have great luck with taxi cabs either.
No, she doesn't have great luck with anything, it seems.
Sue takes the towel from Alicia and begins drying herself off, but she's so invisible, so it's like this towel's just moving around by itself in the air. So, Reed, he didn't say a word. He just stared into space for 5 minutes, then slithered off into the laboratory and closed the vacuum seal. Meanwhile, I'm babbling like a lunatic about wiring the cosmic cube to the stove and organizing an immaculate dinner party. Then Johnny started behaving like a complete pig until he and Ben were at one another's throats. Oh, they'll find some space monsters to fight, and then they'll feel much better. Tom Kai. I love Thai. What's Tom Kai, Shane?
I don't know what is Tomkai.
Tom Kai is, I believe, chicken coconut soup. Do you like Thai food? Is that
I have never had Thai food.
We got a couple of Thai places around here. You got to try it sometime.
Yeah, we do have a couple of Thai places around us, but like that requires not being 30 minutes away from every Thai place.
And I'm assuming there's some picky eaters that you have to deal with as well.
Yeah, just finally got the one to finally eat Chinese.
Oh, to be fair, when I was a kid, I held off on Chinese food as long as possible.
That's sad. So coconut chicken soup.
And then Sue continues, the fish cakes are yours too. Oh, you have no idea how happy I am to get out of that madhouse, Alicia. And on the following page,
We start with I it's a water droplet, but I'm assuming it's a tear that it's supposed to start with. As Alicia starts unwrapping her food so she can start to eat, and lets Sue know that there's some wine in the fridge.
the bathroom skylight got cracked by the gray gargoyle. Wine's by the milk on the bottom shelf. I see you finally gave up lugging Reed's Omni communicator around. Sue? Well, no wonder. It looks like a bug from another dimension. I think it's beautiful. So, what have you been up to? After the Frightful Four tried to turn Brooklyn into a negative zone junction? Nothing. Beating the fish. Listening to the radio. What's Sue doing?
What's Sue doing? She's working on pouring. She grabbed two wine glasses so she could pour herself and Alicia a glass of wine so they can calm down, get their bearings.
And Alicia is very perceptive. She just looks at Sue and says, well, maybe she doesn't look at Sue, but she just points out, it's Namor, isn't it? Well, and the water droplet you mentioned earlier hits the floor. We turn the page to see what?
See Reed in his think tank still, just looking like he's getting electrocuted, but not as droopy as the last time we saw him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of struggling to figure out what's going on with this panel because he's obviously still in the think tank. He's hooked up to the machines. He's not seated at this point. It almost looks like he's grappling with giant electrons, which is strange. It also kind of looks like he's just dancing.
He might be.
Not entirely certain what is happening here.
He's gone full tantric with the electrons.
I will say though that that four emblem on his chest is fire.
It is. This is a very striking page. It's a very good, like,
It's a good splash.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on in it, but it's a great splash panel. And where do we go on the next page, Shane?
Oh, we go to a bridge where we find Johnny racing through at, breakneck speed because he's just absolutely mad at Ben still. And of course, he has a female passenger with him because he has to get off his head of steam.
Well, he did say that he had a date last issue. I'm assuming this young woman is it. Well,
That's
over the
true.
radio, we get a report. Prince Namor, the infamous submariner, has denied the presence of hostile Atlantean forces just outside U.S. territorial waters. Yeah, make your move, Namor. Man, was I glad to get out of that tomb tonight. Last thing I need right now is rain cramping my style. Let's hope Namor doesn't crash the party, or I'll have to treat everyone to an impromptu display of mindlessly violent pyrotechnics. Hope you packed a Polaroid. Johnny, Namor is royalty. Hey, no one's too high class to burn, honey. Does your hairstyle always have to catch fire like that? I didn't come here to be cooked like a steak. Then you came to the wrong place, baby. I'm the fabulous human torch. Dig it or learn to live without it.
He's such a cocky guy in this fucking in this. He's so cocky.
Johnny, you're crazy. And As he speeds off the bridge and into the city, Johnny ends up passing by a place called Glory Hospital, where we find what?
That is where we come back to Ben from last issue. But we also see it looks like Namor looking down on him as he's speeding away.
This is very true. Very true. Meanwhile, an older gentleman, I believe, is talking to Ben. Grim, that's your name, right, soldier? That's what it says here. Do you ever have a brother? You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy in the next bed, Ben. How are you? You was a hit and run, they says you looked like road pizza. Personally, I don't find you that appetizing. What do we see on the interior of this hospital room, Shane?
We see Ben in one bed. We see another guy hooked up on another bed, all wrapped up. Unless it's like a playback to when Ben first got there. But it looks like it's a totally different guy.
No, I think it's a totally different guy.
And then him sitting in the his roommate, probably in a wheelchair, talking to him at the head of his bed. I'm assuming this is a VA hospital, by the way.
I think you're right. Bastards left your dog tags and not much else. Lucky to lucky to be alive, the doctor says. And the older gentleman's holding out the dog tags, and Ben goes to reach for them. Give me that. But what's the problem, Shane?
Well, he's got a stump. He's missing half his arm.
They're professional doctors, Ben. They do only what's best. You better believe it. They were my two testicles on Monday morning. And our scene switches on the next page back to Alicia's apartment as the two of them are conversing over wine and tie. No, but I don't get Namor. He smells of crazy hormones and seawater from another world. I mean, he has a magnificent body, but why does everyone think I'm obsessed with Namor's magnificent body? Alicia, my mother convinced me when I was 5 years old that I'd wind up marrying the president or a member of some foreign royal family. And Namor is an aristocrat. Namor has manners, sophistication, and style. The keys to his own undersea kingdom are merely icing on the cake. Meanwhile, I'm mooning around the Baxter Building aquarium on a Saturday night, waiting for my husband to stop ignoring me. Can I help it if I sometimes dream about green glass submarines gliding through undersea palaces made of phosphor and jewelry? Your motives can be as pure and romantic as you say they are, Sue. It doesn't matter. Namor is a shark in human form. I'm a grown woman and I can deal with sharks. In fact, after rejection, sharks are no problem. Ouch. This is always a cycle you always go through. You do know that, don't you? This wine is great, Alicia. I just wish he'd talk to me. And they have a toast and both take a sip of their glasses.
That Alicia filled, which I love her having to use her hand to justify how much is in the glass as she's filling them.
It's a very nice touch. You know, it's like we're the happiest couple on earth, and then some theory will just pop into Reed's head, and he looks right through me, and it's so cold. It's like I'm not even there, Alicia. Sue, I can smell your hair. I can hear your heartbeat. I can feel the air you displace as you move around the room. Hold out your hand. And what does Alicia go to hand Sue?
She gives her that the Omni communicator.
Why do you think these machines that he builds have to be so expressive and individual? Why is it that no one but Reed can make them work properly or design anything like them? Feel it. That's you, Sue. That's passion in everything he does. That's Reed's love in every line. He's not a scientist. He's an artist, and he puts all the things he can't say into the things he makes. I don't want to reach my husband via his works of genius. I'd rather he was there for me when I need him. Like tonight, for instance. Why can't he just talk to me like a normal person, Alicia? Because all four of you went into space and came back different from everyone else. There's no way back to normal. Reed's body and brain have become completely malleable. He has thoughts and ideas and sensations we can barely dream of. Sue, who's to say he isn't there for you right now? And speaking of Reed, what do we see on the next panel, Shane?
Oh, before we skip to that panel, I want to go back to that up close shot of the statues of the Fantastic Four there
Yeah,
that we
absolutely.
see.
That would be the seventh panel on the page.
Yeah. Um, I really like the fact that you see Reed looking down, Sue looking away, and Ben's head just held high. It's kind of like almost a representation of the characters in this story and how they all feel about what's going on in this point in like this specific book.
This is a very nice artistic touch, and it very much speaks to Alicia's talent as a sculptor.
All right, yes. And then we get to the next thing, and then you see Reed's face just distorted to all get out, and those wickedly weird teeth in that shot.
Yeah, I think you would have to have an elastic face to be able to pull this off. Like I said, like I said earlier, it's almost like he's melting here.
Yeah, I thought he was melting in the first one, but then it looked like he was coming back in that splash page, and then it looks like he's melting in. I don't know what's going on with Reed. Reed's going through it for sure. But as we get to the bottom here, you see Doom show back up. I
And
wonder if Doom has control of that room right now, and we just don't know it.
as we switch our scene to Latveria, where Doom is talking to a gentleman in an overcoat. Von Doom, your allies in America await your command. Tell them to wait a moment more, Xiao. This moment is mine alone. It belongs to silence and hate. And what does Doom do?
Smashes a figurine of Sue.
And two, the family falls. We make our way back to Alicia's apartment as Alicia runs her hand through the fish tank. Anyway, next week you'll be home from whatever new dimension he's discovered, telling me how much you love one another. I know you will. And another water droplet begins to fall.
Yep.
You'll sweep through the door in a flurry of newspaper headlines and circuit encrusted tiaras from a parallel reality. You'll tell me you wish your life could just go back to lazy, quiet normality again. And the droplet hits the floor?
Yes, it does.
In fact, if you don't, I'll be really disappointed. There. Did you hear that? Two more droplets begin to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the skylight? I'll take a look. You're right, Alicia. I just needed to get my head straight. I'll get back and he'll be sitting dazed in the kitchen, staring at a can opener. I guess we should all take more responsibility for our own moods. You're just looking out for him and making sure he doesn't isolate himself too much. It's just that Reed needs a little more time with his thoughts than the rest of you. The water droplets hit the floor. Sue, it shouldn't sound like that. It's not raining outside. Which I'm going to admit confuses me because it definitely still looks like it's raining outside.
Yeah, it definitely does look like it's raining outside. But I don't know. I really don't know where they're going with that because it definitely looks like raindrops are all over the window.
When we turn the page, our scene shifts again to where, Shane?
Back to the VA hospital with Ben looking at his dog tags.
I was a quarterback, you see. I fought in the war. My buddy Reed Richards and some crazy rich kids talked me into flying their mission to Mars. I had nothing else to do, and that's the last thing I remember before everything went crazy. Reed was my old college buddy, but he did something so bad. Or something. Why can't I remember? Reed Richards? The professor? You're delirious, Ben. That guy's a zillionaire superhero with a beautiful wife. How can he be your roommate? He has gray in his hair. What do you know about me, you bum? I could fly a rocket from here to Pluto and back. Let's hope it's a one-handed rocket, Ben. Quit whining for 5 minutes anyway, will you? So you lost your arm. Big deal. I got me a dose of terminal prostate cancer, you bastard. Try putting that in a lonely heart's head. Next page, we return to Alicia's apartment.
Yep, we start with a shot through the fish tank again.
And we see Alicia trying to locate Sue. Sue, are you there? It's that smell. Weren't we talking about seawater from another world? Soil?
Is that a statue behind her? Or is someone hitting Alicia in the back of the head?
Yeah, there is definitely someone in panel 3 sneaking up behind Alicia with a large stick. Do you have any guesses on who this might be?
My guess would be Mole Man because she says soil.
I think that's a pretty good guess, Shane.
And he's prone to use sticks.
And though we still can't see Sue, what can we see by the movement of her wine glass?
We can see her moving down the hall till she opens the door.
Hello? Is someone... Ah! And what does she see?
She opens the door and she s sees Namor.
The storm has come. Susan, let me look at you.
I want to know how
Uh,
the water radiates off of him. It doesn't, it's like it's splashing off his shoulders.
so yeah,
But
describe what's going on here.
so Sue comes into this room, which looks like it's a bathroom. Just gonna call it what it looks like. Namor's standing there in Namor fashion, and Sue comes to be back into full view for the first time in this entire book. Seeing that the only time we ever seen her as like full figured in this was the statues, but before this, she's been just a floating hand until now. And she looks at him in like, "Oh no, Namor's come to take me."
And she says, Namor. Oh God, I'm married. And we turn the page, and our scene once again changes. Shane to what?
We go back to Johnny and his date on the streets, and now it doesn't look like it looks like the rain did stop at this point because it doesn't look like it's pouring anymore on them. And he ends up letting his date take the car.
Johnny, I love what you do to me, but these are third-degree burns. Yeah, I've been thinking I shouldn't have been so mean to Ben earlier. Maybe we should find Namor and beat the hell out of him like a couple of buddies. Take the wheel, baby. It was the car you really wanted, right? Wow, you bet. You're so cool, Johnny. Whatever.
You think he just claims that for insurance after that?
Like a tax write-off?
Yeah, like I gave a car away for free.
Yeah, I wonder what charitable cause you list that under.
Um, Lonely Hearts Club.
Not sure if that qualifies. I feel like that's a definite IRS audit.
Uh oh, it's an LLC, don't worry.
Moving on to the next page.
We get some lightning going on in the background, so the storm looks like it's coming back. That did just seem to vanish, and everyone's kind of staring at the sky. And then Johnny kind of gets a real bad feeling.
So he approaches the Baxter building and he says to the doorman, "Some nights it's just too exhausting being me. You see my old pal Ben tonight, doorman? Feel a need to work off some heat before the rain starts up. That thunder's just getting closer all the time. Whoa, I almost felt that one. Me too. That's not thunder, is it? It's under the ground." And the city blacks out. Johnny
Bum, bum,
says,
bum.
"There's a bomb-proof shelter in the basement. If you start running now, you'll make it. Go!" And we see a what looks to be a spark or impact coming from a manhole cover on the street. When suddenly on the next page,
A giant monster emerges from the ground, and it looks like some zombies. I'm not exactly sure what the other things are in that top panel.
I think that is just pedestrians fleeing from the explosion coming up from the street.
Okay, well they look they're I have a problem with the rendering there, but that's on me. They just because it was really weird. But yeah, we can go with that.
And Johnny's dwarfed by this monster and he begins to burst into flame. And he says, "Flame on. To be continued." Well, Shane, what'd you think of this issue?
It's, I told you I was gonna go into it with a open mind, and I was had a better mind space this morning, as I stated. I read this at 5:30 in the morning. I wasn't at work yet. No one talked to me yet in the morning. I was in a great spot.
So, what's the
But
verdict?
uh I didn't hate it as much as I hated the first one. I got my answer on Ben. I'm still mad about Namor and Sue. So I really need this to end in a way where Namor is absolutely just destroyed.
So you're going to go back to episode 5 here, where you said that to make the story better for you, you needed Doom to stop existing. And now to make the story better for you, you need Namor to be absolutely destroyed. I'm sensing a theme here.
Are you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Do you guess? I'm gonna guess the third book's gonna tell you that I want Mole Man absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if it doesn't. As a matter of fact, to quote Alicia Masters, "In fact, if you don't, I'll be really disappointed."
Which is funny because like I really liked Mole Man in the first one, and I didn't hate Namor when we read him the first time. Just thought he was a stupid pig. This one,
He is.
this one though, this one's extra creepy. This is like stalker level creepy, sneaking up into not even like it's not even like he went in the Baxter building. He went to someone else's apartment to go get her. That's creepy. And he was staring at Johnny driving away. Like he's doing some creepy stuff here.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, not to defend Namor, I don't want to be that guy, but to walk you through Namor's logic here, in my head at the very least. So, yeah, he's definitely going to take note of where the rest of the Fantastic Four are before he confronts Sue, right? Because otherwise, there's just going to be problems for Namor.
Oh, you're
Yes, it
saying
is creepy. Yes, it's terribly creepy, but
you're calling it confronting her. That is kidnapping. The word you're looking for is kidnapping.
we don't know that. We haven't hit issue 3 yet. So we gotta see what's going on at issue 3.
Yep. Yep.
which we'll return to probably in about a month's time.
Yep.
Oh, you want to get down to our four things for this issue?
The nitty gritty, as they call it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go first on favorite panel.
Absolutely.
And my favorite panel is actually page 19, the last page of the book. And it's panel 3. And I
Um,
really like this because literally, as this gigantic monstrosity, from what I assume is Subterranea, bursts from the ground beneath New York streets, a dwarfed human torch stands alone and defiant, ready for action. I really, really like this panel. The scale of the city really helps put the scale of the monster into perspective, which again puts the torch in perspective. And it's such a daunting situation for Johnny Storm, but still, he has that brave face on that you see in the next panel. You don't really see it here because the camera's too far out, but just his posture and everything, he's ready to throw down without hesitation.
yeah, he said he was ready to punch something, so this is his thing he's ready to punch. I like the callback to issue one of the original Fantastic Four. That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah, I did some research to see if it was actually the same creature. It is not, but
No,
it
no,
does look pretty
because
similar.
I'm just talking about the whole like hit coming up through the through the city streets, and it's just a nice callback, I think. An homage, that's the word I'm looking for.
It's a good word for it as an homage. What's your favorite panel, Shane?
Mine is page 10, panel 7, which I did talk on a little bit about already. But
The sculptures behind the fish tank?
yeah, it really stands out in the to me this panel. I totally forgot that I picked it as my panel because it like even rereading it, I'm like, this stands out in this book. Just like I said, the Reed looking away, Sue looking away, the thing with his head held high but looking straight forward. And then if you look in the next page, you see Johnny, and Johnny's just kind of like not part of it. It almost feels like how they have this team built currently. And
Yeah, it really
he's,
does illustrate the separation between all of them at the moment. Um, it feels like there's a divide within their family, and the fact that none of them are making eye contact with one another, and they all seem very focused on their own things. It's a very nice touch.
yeah, the like if I could, it would be this whole thing about like Alicia telling Sue about like this is Reed finds his beauty by making these things, and he only finds them from you. And the fact that the only person that can see the beauty in them is Alicia is like very interesting to me.
That's the whole concept of love is blind, right?
Yeah. While she looks absolutely distraught in these pictures.
She doesn't like what she's hearing from Sue.
No. So it's like a culmination of all that, but that one panel right there with them all like just so in their own heads just seems so perfect. I don't know what else how else to word it.
Well, we'll move on to This Age Poorly. What do you got, Shane?
So mine is Sue's whole thing where her mom told her that she should be royalty and she would marry royalty and like trying to justify why she should go be with Namor instead of Reed.
That's page 9, panel 2.
Yeah.
Well, technically 2 through 4,
Yeah.
but yeah. No, I agree with that. Well, I'll actually get back around to it, but yeah, as far as it aging poorly, what's your rationale?
I've made it pretty known that I hate the idea of the Sue Namor dynamic and the shipping in any way, shape, or form. So you could almost use this as my what was I thinking, but I still have a different one for that one, sort of. Um, so it's just I wrote it as Sue's misplaced judgment, and it's Sue's like I think this is the thing that shows that Sue doesn't quite understand what Reed does for her. Yeah, so what was yours, buddy, for poorly?
So my this stage poorly is the previous page, page 8, panel 5. You better believe it, they removed my two testicles on Monday morning. In my opinion, this is needlessly edgy.
It was.
This feels like a Bill Jamis be controversial for controversy's sake line of dialogue. Now, I'm not going to absolve Morrison of any responsibility of it as well, because obviously they had to write it. But,
Or
you
the
know,
editors that let it go
or
through.
the editors that let it go. But a lot of things in this era of comics at Marvel were defined by this Bill Jemas attitude. I'm thinking of books like Marvel. I'm thinking of books like Trouble. It just feels like something right out of that school. And yeah, I don't like it.
Fair.
You
I
familiar
mean,
with Trouble?
I am. I know of the trouble with trouble, and
It's a good way to put it.
I have never even I haven't even done the Google on the trouble, but I know the trouble of trouble. Unlike what the Joker says in like a Batman, where he's like, "It's probably worth the Google, not worth the Google."
So, moving on to what were they thinking? We are going to once again return to page 9 and continue our conversation on Sue and Namor. Panel 3 is the one that particularly got me. Namor has manners, sophistication, and style. Oh, really, Sue? Namor has manners? Which seaborne invasion or murderous rampage against your family would you like to talk about first?
Or the stalking.
Yup.
And I want to
After
know what is his style? Is his style just wearing his underwear
his
everywhere?
style is wearing tiny pants and v-neck jackets.
Oh man. That man uses a lot of hair wax to get that slicked back.
I think it's just seawater. How much sludge is in the seawater these days that maybe he can just naturally?
Oh,
But
there's a ton.
but yeah, just that line, I was just like, that's so off base, Sue. So off base.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the keys to his own underwater kingdom that really was the icing on his cake. That was the line that was going to get you.
It was particularly the manners part. The manners part was the one that put me over the edge. Because I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he has style like an underwear model, and he lives in an undersea palace. So I guess you could say he has sophistication, maybe. But the manners part got me. That really was the one that set me off. What
I
about
mean,
you? Where are we going for you, or what were they thinking?
I was having a really hard time with what were they thinking, and I ended up on not really what they were writing, but definitely like what the character was thinking, and it was Johnny just giving up his car. Johnny just being like, you know what, I'm so done with this lady. I don't even know why I got went on this date with her. Just take my car.
That's page 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's part of me that thinks, Johnny's in a bad mood. He was looking for some frivolous good time to get his mind off of it. But, I feel like this is probably the objectification of celebrity that he's experiencing here right now.
Probably.
Like this girl isn't here for Johnny Storm, the human being. This girl is here for the Human Torch, zillionaire superhero, fast cars, money, give her what she wants, and then just kind of broom her off because there's nothing of substance there.
Yeah.
So that's my thought of Johnny's rationale. But yeah, I did briefly consider it as well for my what were they thinking moment.
Um, all right, what was your page turner, buddy?
Oh, my page turner. Dude, that is going to be page 18, panel 6, which is that shot of that taxi cab where the manhole cover is starting to glow.
That's a good
Because
one.
yeah, I mean it's the one that really stuck out to me. You know, what terror lurks beneath the New York streets? And yeah,
Crocodiles.
we find out what it is on the next page, but it to me was kind of the quintessential cliffhanger moment that wasn't the last page of the issue. It sets up the last page quite nicely.
Yeah, it does. It really does set up the last page really nicely. That I do very much like that panel. Did not go with that one for myself though.
What
But
did you pick, sir?
I picked page 7, the last panel.
The interior of the VA hospital.
Yeah, when you first see the his roommate talking to him, and the guy is all hooked up mid-surgery there.
What got you amped up to turn the page on this one?
Because I knew that I was going to figure out what the heck happened to Ben.
You were very emotionally invested in what happened to Ben.
Yeah, very
I will
much.
I
That
will admit
is
that.
that is my favorite Fantastic Four member, and like tiered wise, it's not even close. It's
He's
like
just a good guy. Ben Grimm is just a good guy.
so yeah. I'd really just like that last panel because it got me to roll into the next thing, and once you end up finding out that he's missing from below his elbow.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what you think of the resolution of this entire Ben Grimm storyline by the time we get to the end of it. Because I have a feeling that was the root of your consternation with the first issue.
Oh, it definitely didn't help me out in that first issue. No.
All right, so once again, just for those that are interested, you can find this story in the Fantastic Four 1234 trade paperback that was released in September of 2002, or the hardcover that was released in October of 2011. And then there is the new edition, Marvel Knights Fantastic Four by Morrison and Lee, trade paperback that was released in September of 2018. The whole series is on Marvel Unlimited, or go to your local comic shop and sort through the back issue bins. You have any final thoughts on 1234 issue 2, Shane?
No, I think we covered all of my thoughts on it. Uh, I didn't hate it as much as the first one, though I did get my Ben resolution or not a whole resolution, but at least a little bit more, because I was really going to be mad if they killed Ben off.
You got an update. That was what was important.
Yeah, but now I'm mad because Sue is about to be kidnapped, and I hate. That's my second favorite character in the Fantastic Four, so this is just like just on and on, bud.
Would you prefer if would it help you if this series was called Fantastic Four in the No Good Very Bad Day?
Yeah, no good, very bad day. That's what this was. This is just a uh thank God there was never like Fantastic Four one more day or something.
Don't give Marvel any ideas, please. Just
No, I put it out there in the because they won't use it if anyone said it ever. So hopefully they'll hear that and they'll never make that a thing.
it's a good idea.
So everything you don't want, like as part two of this, make sure that you say it like 100 times. Uh,
It's de-manifesting it, is what it is.
yes.
Are you interested in hearing what we're covering next week, Shane?
Yeah, absolutely.
So next week, I figured, after we covered Marvel Team Up number 61 a couple episodes ago, which was the first John Byrne work on Fantastic Four, might as well cover his second work on Fantastic Four and see him tackle the Thing in Marvel 2-in-1 number 50. You up for that?
Oh yeah.
Once again, Shane and I would like to thank you all for tuning into us this week on the Fantastic Four Fancast. As always, your feedback is important to us. We would highly appreciate it if you left us a review on Apple or a comment or review on Spotify. You can subscribe to us on your preferred listening platform so we show up in your feed each and every week. Also, we are on Facebook at the Fantastic Four Fancast, where we encourage you to engage in FF related discussions and share Fantastic Four content. We only ask that you adhere to the group rules and, most importantly, be respectful. You can also follow us on Instagram at Fan4Fancast. That's FAN, the number four, FANCAST. And finally, you can email us at fan4fancast@gmail.com. Again, that is FAN, the number four, FANCAST@gmail.com. Anything else, Dad?
No, I was trying to find that Marvel 2-in-1. It took me a minute, but I found it on the app, so I'm happy. I'm actually really happy with what this title says it is. So, I think I'm gonna have fun with it.
And that wraps things up for this week. Once again, I'm Nate Charles and he's Shane Murray. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next week.